Hey, what's up, everybody? Wanted to say hello. Hope you're having a great weekend. It's Dr. Mondo, and I'm out here in Atlanta. Anyone familiar with the Atlanta area? I'm out about an hour outside of Atlanta at Lake Lanier. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Pretty amazing. My best friend is getting wedding. One of my best friends is getting ready to have a wedding. He's getting ready to get married. And we're at Lake Lanier. This doesn't do you a whole lot of justice to kind of see what we're doing here. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys where I'm at. The connection's a little bad, so I'll step back inside. I think we're good now. But anyway, beautiful out here on a lake. But I'm not here to show you my view. I'm here to show you that you can take the show on the road. And what do I mean by that? Biggest challenge that I've had while traveling always is where do you eat and how do you eat? And I'll just be honest with you, coming to a place like the suburbs of Atlanta outside of Georgia, like it is not very friendly to this way of eating. You're not gonna find a bunch of vegan restaurants. They're gonna look at you and say, vegan, that means you can have cheese, or that means you can have chicken, right? Like people don't get it, that's okay. Especially when you go plant-based, Whole Foods, that's next level. Now they're like, you're just from California, I don't even want to deal with you. So what I've learned is the more I've traveled that I can't rely on other people, and I can't, at the same time, I really can't make too big of a deal out of it. Like I used to try to find other restaurants that accommodate. Now I'm just like, I'm 8 months in almost, and it's more about, for me, just eating fuel. That sounds like such a cliche. I would have slapped me for saying that 8 months ago, but truly it's the way it is. And so I want to, some people ask, how do you travel and eat this way? Especially when you're in situations like this. Like we're going to be going to New York City. We're going to be going to Boston, New Jersey. We went to Chicago, even Kansas City. We were able to eat Whole Foods plant-based and stay just dialed in, not because we have to, because we want to, or I want to. But when you're in places like this, it's the same thing. You just have to get creative. So I want to show you what I got created today. And so the first thing is, you just find the local store. And of course, the first thing I'm going to show you is kale, right? But I'm going to take you off of kale for a minute and just show you. The first thing we found is, again, when you're eating Whole Foods plant-based, you can't just live off of this and this, even though at times you feel like you might. And, when I first got here, this is kind of what I was living on. When I went to Chicago for the first time, I was living off of a lot of fruit. My friend joked around all the time. He's like, man, you're really eating those kiwis and you eat them with the skin? And the answer is yes to both of those. However, now what I realize is you can't just live off of these two things. You need these things. You need right here. You need beans. I'm on a kidney bean kick right now. So they got these everywhere. This is at a store called Publix, right? And let me take you back real quick. So how did I end up with all of this stuff? And I'll tell you more about what I got here, what I'm about to make, so you guys could kind of see if you take the show on the road too. If you're thinking about going Whole Foods plant-based, but you're like, I can't do it on the road, and I'm going to be at a wedding, there's no way. Well, I'm going to a wedding tonight where I know there'll be nothing I can eat. So this is how I prepare, is by basically getting all this stuff ready. So first of all, let me show you what's in the fridge. Now, the fridge comes with a room, and a little pro tip, yes, you need to ask for a fridge. Make sure your room has a fridge, right? One of the things you'll see in here is these are beans. Now, I eat Ethiopian at home all the time. I think you guys probably are sick of hearing that. Do you notice these beans, how that layer right there, that's a lot of oil and a lot of other stuff. I had these beans one day and they were tasty, but they left me feeling like crap. So they're going back in the fridge. They'll probably go in the trash can soon. The point is, I realized again, I can't on restaurants to give me what I'm used to. Back home, I know at Queen of Sheba, shameless plug, they always do it right. And so on the road, I'm assuming, Ethiopian food, this will be just the same. Well, guess what? It's not. So, for me, how do I eat? I eat Whole Foods plant-based. If it has a mother or it has a face, I'm not messing with it. And I also skip the oil too. And I try to control my salt. I know that sounds like a lot, but again, that's what makes me, I do it not because I'm trying to be righteous, but because I just feel so dang good eating this way. And so when I'm on the road, I want to keep feeling good. So back to that I'm deciding to make. So this morning I woke up, I ate some fruit, and I said, you know what, I need more than fruit. So I went and I got those beans, and then I also got some potatoes, okay? You can just I just grabbed a little bag of potatoes right here. Okay, these are just the normal, little red potatoes. And I threw them in a little, I had this with me, I traveled with it. I threw a little bit of water in here, and I threw the lid on, like kind of covering the majority of it, and I threw it in a microwave. Now this is crucial. Most rooms don't have microwaves. So I called, I said I have dietary restrictions, and I just said I have to have a microwave. They said we can't do that, but we'll see what we can do. And I said you got to make that happen, otherwise I can't stay there. You sometimes got to just tell people what you need in order to make it happen. Don't take what they first tell you to be, you know, what ends up being the situation. Because if you push it a little bit, you know, and I mean in a good way, you push it because it really makes a huge difference. If I didn't have this microwave, I'd be so much more limited. So guess what? They made it happen. So what's in the microwave, you might ask? If I can get this one open, this microwave's from 1998. It's a throwback. What's in here? Okay, that is onions and mushrooms and rosemary. So all of that came, and again, I found this at a place I wouldn't imagined, a place called Publix, and it's just a bag that you can microwave with some veggies. And what am I getting ready to throw on right here? You know already what I'm about to do. I'm gonna take some of this kale, because this is like a standard go-to meal. So just, again, like right here, bunch of potatoes, bunch of kidney beans. And biggest misconception, part of the reason why it never worked for you when you did this before, if you're one of those people, is because you weren't eating enough, and you weren't eating enough of this stuff. I mean, you need tons of this. I'm gonna probably, usually a problem, but on you know, like this entire, both of these things, easy. But today I'll probably get one of these in per meal. And so the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna take this, and I'm just going to take this, and I'm gonna throw it on top as much as I can. That's a lot of potatoes, and that's a lot of kidney beans. But again, I'm gonna just try to throw as many of those in there as possible. My wife just called. I'm sorry, now she's watching. She's like, you didn't answer my call. What are you doing? Well, I'm doing a Facebook Live explaining to people that you can eat healthy on the road too. So don't forget what's down below there. There's potatoes and there's kidney beans, okay? And then we're gonna go ahead and top it off. All I need is a fork. I know there's a fork somewhere. Had to call the restaurant, say, deliver some plates and cutlery. They say, we don't do that, right? And again, just so you know too, I definitely have to keep drinking good coffee, because the coffee here, that's a different video we can explain. That is some Pachamama gold right there. This is, I had to borrow this from my wife. She's going without in order for me to drink good coffee. People already are making fun of me / asking me, hey, can I get some of that good coffee? Because they know I have it. None of this. This is just, wow. I want to, that might get censored out when I go to publish this video. I'm sorry, you can't say that you like coffee and you can't drink this. I'm just sorry, you really, honestly, I mean, what is this? Come on, that is not coffee. Back to the food. Okay, so what is this again? You got your, I'm gonna use the fork as the pointer here. You have your kidney beans, you got your potatoes, and then you got your baby kale, because we love it, right? I love baby kale. And then what we're gonna do on top? We're gonna do, to me, dressing, the best dressing for food is salsa. I think that. So I'm gonna throw a lot of that. And I looked, again, because I try to watch my sodium, the reality is on the road, that's a concession I'm gonna have to make. There's gonna be some sodium in this, but the reality is that you know, there's not gonna be a ton. So I found the salsa with, like, that was the most natural ingredients. Read the ingredients, make sure it's all good. So, okay, there's some salsa. That's gonna give some flavor to all this stuff, in case you're wondering. And then, you know what, I don't always do avocado, but you know, it's funny because when I was on the road, it used to be, last time I was here in June, it was like, how much fried chicken could I eat when I'm in Atlanta? Because you know they do some good, you know, Southern style food, right? Well, now I could care less about that. So my splurge will be this avocado. My splurge will be just eating tons of fresh fruit. I got my kiwis, I got my watermelon, I got my berries. I even got some pineapple in there, not pictured. And then, oh yeah, let's not forget about this too. It might be kind of hard for me to get at this while I'm on here, but this is what's gonna end up going on top. So yeah, bear with me here. Bear with me. How do you guys travel when you're on the, talk amongst yourselves as I open up this bag and you awkwardly watch the television. How do you travel? What are your travel hacks? Comment below. Okay, here we go. So there's that bag. It is piping hot, but because we have to finish this off, I'm gonna risk getting burnt to at least show you what it's all gonna look like, so you could go, wow, that's a pretty amazing meal. And you made that when you're in your hotel room. I can't travel and eat this way. You have to eat whatever you can get. And I was in the suburbs. I couldn't eat. No, guess what? I used to give those excuses, but they no longer work, because the reality is, if you really want to be committed to feeling good, not being compliant, but if you really want to be committed to feeling good, you can do this. Okay, sorry, last time the screen's going to shake. Boom, there you go. Got the piping hot. You got the NFL draft on right here. That's a big meal. That's a big meal right there. And I think that's going to do me, that'll fill me up. And again, the one thing I'm going to tell you about this is that I have more veggies that I'll probably throw on top of that, and I have more kale, lots more kale. And I'll probably get like halfway through this burrito bowl, and I'll just put more lettuce on top, because like, you know, in Tim Kaufman's great video that I posted on my page, talks about nutrient density and you know, the way you stack your foods. You want to basically take all these potatoes, you need your starches and you need your beans, but you need to include those with some greens and some other vital nutrients that you'll get from the greens and get from the vegetables. This life could be yours too. Maybe not all of this, but this could be yours. Simply by realizing that there is a way to take the show on the road. Excuses, man, they're plentiful. I got plenty of them. But again, look at that piping hot. That's a burrito bowl. I'm sorry, Chipotle, but this is a plant-based burrito bowl that I don't think you can make. And again, I'm just going to show you what I'm working with here. No stove included, which is usually the best way to go. But this is a little microwave. And we're out here at Lake Lanier, Lanier Islands. This is not the most friendly of places to eat plant-based, but guess what? If you want it to happen, you can make it happen. And again, as I said, it's not about just saying that you're eating this way to say it or to stay compliant to some rules. I don't believe in that. This is fuel right here, all day long. So later tonight, when there's nothing for me to eat at dinner, I already know there won't be. That's fine, because this is going to fuel me the entire time. So you guys, again, this could all be yours simply by going to the local grocery store while you're traveling. Do not get caught up in the excuse that you can't take the show on the road. You know how many times on vacation I felt ruined when I got back, right? As a result of not being able to eat the right way, and I went home and I just felt like crap, and I stopped my routines and my habits. You could still keep it going. You just have to make a commitment to it. And you have to also get creative. One thing I'll say is, I didn't learn this overnight. I learned this because I had a coach, Sharon McRae. And I'm not telling you all have to have Sharon McRae as your coach, but if you have the opportunity to, you better take her up on it. But definitely, I hate hearing the excuse that you can't make it happen. She broke me of that excuse, so now it's my duty to break you of your excuse. You could eat whole foods, plant-based, wherever you go, even if you're in the deep south, even if you're in the suburbs, it does not matter. So again, all I have to say, it's gonna make me feel so much more grateful for Sacramento and the city that I'm in. I'm already feeling now, I always feel that when I come back home, but how grateful am I for the area location we live. If you live in California, period, you got zero excuses to do this. People out here who say it's hard to do it, I believe it. There's not much organic produce out here. It's tough. I could go on and on. The point is, don't make excuses. You could take the show on the road too.